Let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the officers of leaders and the county assemblies for the welfare of the society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in the county. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and a faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our county and of those whose interest you have committed to our church. Amen. Let me welcome everybody that is concerned, members of the Assembly, the Office of the Auditor, Secretariat, and the accounting officers from Jaramogi. Is there any apology from members? Members of the County Assembly, is there apology? No apology? Okay. I bring to your attention that we are going to look into the Auditor General's report on the financial statement of Jaramogi Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital for the year ended 30th June 2022. And we want to adopt our agenda. Honorable members, proposed by Honorable James Omolo, seconded by Honorable Matara. Thank you. We are getting into the introduction. I'm the chair, Hon Ken Ouko, MCA West Kisumu Ward, Chair PIC Committee, County Assembly of Kisumu. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Marindo Joffrey, MCA representing Miani Ward, Vice Chair PIC Committee. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Honorable James Ocheng Omolo. I represent West Nyakach. I'm a member of this committee. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is James Oyugewere, MCA for Nyalenda P Ward and a member of the committee.
My name is Seth Okumu, MCA East Sema.
Morning. Nancy Matara, member of the committee.
Back to the Secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Austin Ochieng. I'm the committee clerk.
Good morning. My name is Chris Oguta, clerk assistant to the committee.
Good morning. My name is Wycliffe Owade, researcher attached to this committee.
Morning. My name is CPM Ole Nachayo, a secretariat.
Mine is CPA Nabotodero, a member of secretariat. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Silas Kapesa. It's your turn.
Back to the auditors.
Good morning. I'm Maina Mwagi, representing the Office of Auditor General.
Good morning. I'm Daisy Mukoya from the Office of the Auditor General.
Thank you so much. We are getting back to the accounting officers, maybe led by the CEO.
Yes, who are present. My name is Yampe. I'm here accompanied by my three of Finance Department.
Good morning. I'm CPA Bernard Ndega from Finance.
Good morning, Chair and honorable members. I'm Joshua Clinton, Director of Finance and Administration, Jaramogi.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm CPA Peresia Omino, part of the finance team in JOOTRH.
Sergeant Atam, kindly approach the chair. We are going to administer the oath, and the CEO is going to take oath on behalf of all the officers present. Thank you.
Richard Lesiambe, do solemnly and sincerely swear that every word that I shall utter before the Public Accounts and Investment Committee is the truth and nothing but the truth, and that every statement and declarations that I shall make shall be made conscientiously, believing the same to be true and according to the oath and the
Thank you. Before we inquire whether the committee or the office of the auditor got responses, we have to note, put to your attention that the exercise which is in the County Assembly of Kisumu today, it is broadcasted live. Secondly, you are under oath. Third, everything which is going on here is recorded in the Hansard. So take note of that. May I confirm from the Secretariat that you got the responses from the accounting officers?
Thank you, Chair. I can confirm that we did receive the responses on time. Thank you.
May I confirm from the Office of the Auditor General if they got responses from the accounting officers?
Chair, we got the responses on time, and we have cleared with the verification, and we are ready to proceed.
May I invite the Office of the Auditor General to explain, to actually state the auditor's opinion and what informed that. Thank you.
Chair, the institution for Jaramogi Oginga Odinga got a qualified opinion.
Could you please explain?
Chair, through the audit exercise, we normally have 4 types of opinion. The first one is unqualified, very clean. Second is qualified. Third is adverse. And finally, disclaimer.
Okay, thank you. We had an in-house, and we narrowed down some questions to be answered. One, maybe you can take note. Question 1.5. Question 1.6. Question 1.8. Question 1.9. Question 2.0. question 3.0, then finally 4.0. I think with that, you are properly guided. So, to the Office of the Auditor General, it is now your turn to take the floor.
Chair, question 1.5 was on misstatement of rendering of services and on medical service income amount. The query was both the statement of financial performance and statement of cash flow reflects rendering of services on medical service income amount of 126,273,642. However, the statement of financial position reflects receivables from exchange transaction balance of Kenya shillings 16,351,590, which, according to the supporting schedule provided for audit, relates to the year under review and which, therefore, was revenue for the year under review. Therefore, the amount of Kenya shillings 126,273,642 is misstated by Kenya shillings 16,351,590.
Back to the accounting officers. May I put it very clear that if you have any question, maybe you want to refer to one of your officers, you are free to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and other honorable members. Management acknowledges an oversight in the double entry by failing to acknowledge receivable as revenue receipt. Management instead treated them in cash basis other than accrual. Management wishes to inform the committee that this has now been corrected in the financial year 2022-2023. Honorable Chair, I request my accountant, CPA Ben, to give
No, just before that it is answered, let me take it back to the auditor.
Chair, the issue has not been addressed.
Back to the members.
Chair, the last statement by the management, this has now been corrected in the 2022-2023 financial year. I don't know what that means because you see we are on a particular financial year, 21-22. So just telling us that you have so far corrected it in another coming or subsequent financial year is not in order, Chair, because this ought to be rectified within that fiscal year we are under review. We are talking about 21-22. We have not gone to 22-23. So how is that possible? I don't know, maybe the auditor knows. How is it even possible to try to imagine that it can be corrected in the coming financial year? This had to be corrected within that time frame of the audit. Thank you.
Back to them, accounting officers.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I take note of the concern of the member of the County Assembly and clearly indicate that we as management have acknowledged that it was an error on our part. We acknowledge. And we are saying that we are committed going forward, particularly in the next financial years, to ensure that we don't commit such an error. I think that's basically what we are saying here. So, but I think, as our doctor said, I request my officer here just probably to give a deeper understanding of what actually really happened. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair, and then honorable members. We acknowledge that receivables are supposed to be considered as revenue received based on the basis that we're doing our reporting. However, we erroneously fail to acknowledge this. Financial statements have limitations in terms of reviewing when you're supposed to be able to correct on a particular point. At this particular stage where we have received the financial statement, it is only within the law that you can only do prior year adjustment as we proceed to the next financial year. So we did these questions at that particular time when they were brought, we were able to address them. But as the auditing process involves a lot and involves review of various financial statements at different stages, again at the end of this final stage, the audit still came out that we need to reconsider the receivables under services being rendered. It is only right for us that if going forward, this can be corrected in the current financial statement. But we cannot be able to go back to amend this statement because the law does not now allow us to do any further amendment to this financial statement. Thank you, Chair.
But your statement was very clear that going forward you are going to amend, or was that not your statement? And apart from that, just before that, it is very clear you had a management letter which was written by the Auditor General. Why did you have to leave this to appear in the audited report? Why did you not do this amendments during that time? What happened? Could you please just come clear and tell us what happened? Because you were given time to amend whatever was in the book. Why did you not do it?
Thank you, Chair. Indeed, we were given time, but as I've rightfully put it, the auditors review the financial statement at different stages. Initially, the management report that was given to the facility didn't bring this as an issue. So the issues that were brought at that particular point were addressed. This one is only coming at a point when now we don't have the leeway to amend it at this point. And that's why we have pleaded with the House to allow us that this can only now be corrected in the subsequent financial year. Because that is now where we have a leeway. Because if we are not given a leeway right now to be able to correct this financial statement at this point, but we are given a leeway to do prior year adjustment in the coming financial year. Thank you.
Honorable James.
Chair, I don't know. Because you see, we want to see figures are matching in the financial statement of Jaramogi. And I don't think it is too late to do that. We must get to a point where the reconciliation of the financial statement is making sense to all of us. When we have a variance of 16 million plus on this financial statement, and he says that it is now time barred, we can't see it matching or balancing. I think that is not in order, and I would request Chair forward, we must see this financial statement of 2021-22 balancing, even after, because you are not taking back to the auditor. We as an assembly, we have to see that these books match before we move to 2022-2023. That is our point. And I think the direction Chair should give, Chair, I beg you, let us see this financial statement balancing. With this kind of variance, we don't know what might happen even in the subsequent. Chair, that is my submission. Thank you.
Remember.
Chair.
No, before that, Bwana CEO, we have a chair, so you have to pass through the chair so that you are given an opportunity to respond to issues. I hope that is clearly guided.
got it wrongly. I thought we paid this one.
Okay. Now, is there any member? I think we have to make a pronouncement which is very clear. We are directing that the amended financial statement for financial year 2021-2022 be prepared, taking into account the auditor's observations, and avail to the committee within 7 days. So that is a directive from the committee. The matter remains unresolved. Auditor General. Question 106.
Issue 1.6 was on misstatement of medical or clinical cost amounts. The issue was the statement of financial performance reflects transfers from county government balance of Kenya shillings 356,721,981, which, as disclosed in Note 12 to the financial statements, includes accrued expenses of Kenya shillings 59,489,761. However, the trade and other payable balance of Kenya shillings 108,180,106 reflected in the statement of financial position includes payable relating to the year under review amounting to Kenya shillings 81,749,762, resulting in unreconciled or unexplained variance of Kenya shillings 22,260,001.
Back to the accounting officers.
Thank you very much, Chair. The management has noted the discrepancy on the value of accrued payables in the statement of financial performance and the list of trade and other payables. This was caused by erroneous capturing of recording of invoice dates. We have corrected the misstatement on the subsequent financial year.
Auditors. All right.
Through the chair, the issue has not been addressed.
Back to members. Honorable James Were.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, now that the management have said they have corrected the misstatement in the subsequent financial year, where is the evidence? Can they show us the evidence?
Accounting officers, where is the evidence? Because this is a house of rules and regulations and law. We can't just be talking about statement without evidence. Where is the evidence?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Let me ask my accountant just to give us a clarification on the same, to have an explanation on this. I think I agree it is still also another omission that we committed, and I don't want you to blame us that we have committee of errors all the time. But it was, I think, an issue of a date, whereby instead of putting 2022, I think we indicated 2023. So let me request Bernard just to give a clarification on this, Honorable Chair.
Just before that, who is doing your accounting? Because you are second to none in the county. And we expect small hospitals to learn from you.
Yeah, Honorable Chair.
Go ahead. Who is doing your accounting? They don't have an accountant here. Well, you have a lot of yes. And they are present here.
Honorable Chair, I want to say that it is true, we are very competent officers, well experienced, and notwithstanding that, when it comes to accounting and sometimes it comes to management of this, it happens that something can fall into cracks. And, some of these omissions can happen, and we are saying that there could be very, very expensive errors. But the point here is that it was just a human omission. It was a human error. It was not deliberate. It was not by design. It was not with any intentions probably of misappropriation. It was just a debt in no variation. One thing I can say that Honorable Chair, I've been around only for the last 5 weeks in the hospital, and I can confidently say that we have competent staff, just probably a little bit of supervision that they require. But one, I think on major issues, I don't think we really have experienced serious accounting issues. I think what has been happening are a few errors here and there that probably needed to be just attentive to details. So, Chair, with that, probably I can just request that we allow Mr. Bernard Lege, who was actually the accountant even during that period, just probably to make a clarification.
Okay, put it. I know the question is very. Have a lot of statements. It's good to have a lot of statements. Where is the evidence? Because you were given time during management letter. You were given management letter to respond to these issues. Do you have evidence here to present now? If you don't have evidence, there's no need for him talking if he doesn't have any evidence. Because we need evidence so that you be cleared. And if you don't have that evidence, why do we need to give him time? Because we need evidence so that we can move. Honorable James, you had something to say?
Yeah, just on the same, Chair. You see, we have competent officers for Jaramogi, and these errors seemingly are systematic errors like this one now. We were just from the other query, same errors in the financial statement. Now we are in this again. Their receivables, I don't know, but if we have competent officers to do these books, then why do we have these errors and now and again? And I'm really suspecting even the others we are going will be the same scenario. Someone who holds a CPA like Bernard, I think, really shouldn't be really having these kind of errors now and again. So that really begs my question. When I hear about the subsequent financial year, Chair, and I want to be firm on this, it is that this error will not occur in the next financial year. But we are in this current year, we need to sort out our issues in the current year. So when the management says this misstatement will be corrected in the next financial year, we will deal with that by then, and we hope by then there shouldn't be any kind of error like this again in our books. So we just need, from my colleague, we just need evidence for the corrections that were misstated in this. Thank you.
Surely, Honorary Jonda, we are not working on 2021. We are not working on 2019, 2020. It is not different anyway. Why do you anticipate where you are going to discuss something which is not there, and we are talking about here now? Because you are taking this committee for a ride. Why do you talk about something not there when you are talking about 2020, 2021, 2022? Why don't you stick to issues on 2021, 2022 so that we move forward? Because now there are some invoices actually which were within your responses. The dates not captured correctly during recording. Now, who actually was in charge of doing this? Because this is a public fund. You are put to be in charge of public fund, and our duty is to overcharge, to oversight what you are doing. Now, who was doing this? And do we have standards? Do you follow standards of accounting when you are reporting? You know, we can't just leave you come here and we don't ask you these things. That is why you are here. Buona CEO. Are your officers following what is requested, what is expected as accounting standard? Because if the dates of invoices are not there and they are not captured, who was doing this? Because we need to get hold of that officer, and it is you to answer who was doing all these messes. You can crown the questions. Now we can see what.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chair and the members of the County Assembly of this committee. I just want to assure the members that we don't take you for granted and we don't take you for a ride. I think I want to say that we strongly believe, and we respect, your role in supervision, your role in ensuring that all the assets of this country are managed in a proper manner. This could just be, something that probably, that has happened, and I think that's why we have actually acknowledged, that's why we see that some of these things are wrong. We have not even beaten the bush to defend ourselves, but we are saying that it should not happen. In fact, it should not happen. And I think maybe that was the spirit, that was the conversation that when we are making these responses, is that it should not happen again. That going into the future, any other financial year, we should not have some of these omissions or this error. I think that's where we are coming from. So it should not be taken that, we are very casual in the way we are responding to this. And I want also to emphasize again, it is true that we have got laid down standards, accounting standards, which are not only subjected to us, but actually I think to all accounting entities, and we are supposed actually to abide, and operate within that. So what I can say, the long and short here, is that I request Bernard just to respond to that aspect, that we have got evidence on the same, and why we are saying that we want to ensure that it does not happen again. Your permission, Honorable Chair, allow Bernard to make one or two comments.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I hope you have the evidence with you here, because that was the first requirement.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. Just like you did the first ruling, that you have given us a leeway to go and amend the financial statement for 2021-2022, I would then present my request to the same committee that as we do the amendment of the same, then as we provide it within the 7 days, we should be able to provide these evidences that we are talking about that will be reflected in the subsequent financial year. Because what I said earlier is that the financial statements has reached a point where we cannot be able to amend and forward to the Auditor General, but with the authority that you have given to us, we can commit that we are going to amend it for the financial year 2021-2022, and we'll be able to forward it to this committee within the 7 days so that they can be able to see what we are talking about. Thank you.
Any member? So we are directing that we need a proof of correction of the misstatements in financial statement that actually we are talking about. We also need a schedule of invoices which are alleged to have been recorded with wrong dates within a period of 7 days. I hope you are not going to fail, but if you fail to do that, the committee will go by the figures of the payable as reported of 59,484,761. So if you fail to do that, we'll proceed with our reports on those issues. So kindly do that. We are going to question 1.8. Back to the
Through the chair, before I get to the next query, just a point of guidance. The issues that we are deliberating is 2021-2022, and the certificate is here. We are reading the issues from the certificate. So it's our own guidance. We cannot reissue the certificate again. So the recommendation would be if they can present the amendments in the next 2022-2023, because the certificate is already issued. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'll read 1.8, inaccuracies in the statement of cash flows. The statement of cash flows reflects net cash flows from operating activities amount of Kenya shillings 92,365,808, which differs with the recomputed amount of Kenya shillings 130,499,766, resulting in an unexplained or unreconciled variance of Kenya shillings 38,133,958. Further, the recomputed amount of Kenya shillings 130,499,766 differs with Kenya shillings 127,892,366 shown in the supporting note 24 to the financial statements, resulting in unreconciled variance of Kenya shillings 2,608,400. In addition, the statement reflects net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalents balance of Kenya shillings nil, which differs with the recomputed balance of Kenya shillings 52,934,391, resulting in an unexplained or unreconciled variance of Kenya shillings 52,934,391. Additionally, the statement of cash flows and statement of financial position reflect cash and cash equivalents balance of as at 30th June of 2022 of Kenya shillings 50,326,991, which differs with the recomputed balance of Kenya shillings 52,976,026, resulting in an unexplained or unreconciled variance of Kenya shillings 2,649,035. Thank you, Chair.
To the accounting officers.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As management, we have noted the anomaly and we have corrected in the subsequent financial year. Honorable Chair, I still want to pray that you don't execute us for continuously saying that next financial year.
Hello, Bwana CEO. There's a standard of operations in this house. The moment you are through with your written answer, we give back to the auditor. He's going to comment on that. Now, the moment he is through with everything, we can now get it back to the honorable members. From there, we give you the opportunity now to defend yourself if you want to say something.
Thank you, noted.
I hope it's clear now. Yes, there's a procedure of doing these things, so you don't need to worry. We'll give you enough time to defend yourself.
Yes, I'm sorry, Chair.
Yep.
I'll abide by that. I was just a little bit emotional, I think, because of the situation. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are giving back to the auditor.
Through the Chair, the issue has not been addressed.
Back to the members. Honorable James Omolo.
Chair, and I can get his frustration in terms of defending himself. You see, Chair, we are in the same boat again. A cash flow, statement of cash flow. This accounting 001, I think if we have CPA holding on office there, this is a very simple matter that ought not to have appeared even here. I'm really questioning the competency of our staff at Jaramogi in terms of accounting books. There's something at a miss. I don't know what it is, but Chair, there is something at a miss in Jaramogi. Just doing a cash flow statement, it's basic, it's so basic. And you can see the variances. Even the auditors are really amazed how these figures are jumbled and how there's a discrepancy are coming about. So, Chair, I don't know what we can do, but I really have to say we are not in the right direction in terms of competency, in terms of these preparations of this, all the books in Jaramogi. Unless someone is hiding something, then we need to be told that these are deliberate measures to hide something which is really wrong. We are here to oversee what is happening in terms of absorption of public funds. And even a basic document cannot be prepared to have a nil balance. I don't know. So, Chair, I think before we rectify these things in the financial year coming, just on the same note, we have to get them right now. We give them an opportunity to do the right cash flows. They have all the documents they need. The bank statement, the cash books, they have everything. They can do this. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I just wanted to know what was painful to the CEO. I almost see him shed tears. I don't know the answers that he's reading or the presence of members before him first.
Maybe Bwana CEO, you may be having a response to that.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kumu. Thank you very much. It has nothing really to do with coming here. Also, not anything to do with my responses. It's just my concern that we actually asking for to be given opportunity every time. On errors probably we have avoided. On commissions that we committed that do not have happened. So I think I just want to take you that given the directions that I've seen the committee demanding, cash flows is something that can actually be computed properly and put to meal. I think that is something that is very possible. It was brought to my attention that this was done. I think the computations were done by management, and with their figures, the auditors came and redid it, and that's why actually they found that value. So I think there was no any other opportunity that probably the management took to redo it again, so that we can actually agree with what the auditors came up with. So I still want to pray and say that this committee, given the fact that you have already given us some leeway, some olive branch, that we also bring this within the next 7 days. We are bringing the others, I think what have allowed us to can also come with the cash flow that is current.
We were treating that as a relief, but you appeared emotional. Why? Because we were treating, we were giving you a blank check of 7 days, of which you were to act on, and now you are saying you are quite emotional. So you are worried that maybe we are pressing you so much.
No. Yeah. That's not the case.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, fine.
It was just emotional when you were trying to respond to get the things done.
Okay. Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think on that I agree with you. We also acknowledge your struggles to read the errors in the report. And yes, as the Chair puts it, that we are giving you 7 days. But maybe the person who is preparing the report is the same person. So what assurance are we having that we will get the correct figures? Because he has been given all this time to prepare the report, then we cannot get even statement of cash flows right. Maybe you can give it to him. I think it's here. Through you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Let me respond on that. Yeah, I can assure the committee that within 7 days we'll have this done. I'm already used JOOTRH, I think the last 2 months. I also have now a director in charge of finance and administration. That position has never been filled in Jaramogi since it was started. So for the first time now, we have a director in charge of finance and administration. So I think with those hands on deck, I think we can actually provide you with clean, audited documents and audited reports. I also have a new lady, Teresa, here. I think she's also joining us. So we have a team. Peresia, sorry. I'm mixing it up, Peresia and Peresia. So I want to confirm to the committee that we'll definitely do a good job this time around. Thank you, Chair.
Any member? I think we are going to 1.9 or back to the auditors.
Thank you, Chair. Question 1.9, inaccuracies in the statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts. The statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts reflects transfers from the county government amount of Kenya shillings 363,925,377, which erroneously includes an amount of Kenya shillings 65,771,460 transferred from the NHIF, resulting in the misstatements of Kenya shillings 363,925,377. The following additional anomalies were noted. Number 1, the statement reflects actual medical clinical costs payments amounting to Kenya shillings 188,702,170, while the statement of cash flows indicates a corresponding amount of Kenya shillings 297,232,220, resulting to an unexplained variance of Kenya shillings 108,530,050, despite the fact that the two financial statements are prepared on cash basis. Number 2, the statement also reflects total revenue budget of Kenya shillings 610,779,714, while the approved budget provided for audit shows a corresponding amount of Kenya shillings 506,089,200, resulting in a variance of Kenya shillings 104,690,514. The management has explained that the variance represents donations that were received during the financial year under review, which had not been factored in the budget. However, no reason was given for not regularizing the donations through supplementary budget. Further, the amount of Kenya shillings 104,690,514 differs with public contribution and donations budget amount of Kenya shillings 115,638,484 reflected in the financial statements, resulting in unexplained or unreconciled variance of Kenya shillings 10,947,970. Number 3, the statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts reflects revenue budget as follows. Transfers from the county government, the budgeted amount was 369,070,349. Public contributions and donations, budgeted amount of 115,638,484. Rendering of services, that is the medical service income, had a budget of 125,602,281. Revenue from rent of facilities had a budget of 417,000 Kenya shillings. Other receipts, that is other sales, had a budget of Kenya shillings 51,600. The total budgeted amount was 610,779,714. However, this amount could not be verified from the approved budget, which has only two items under revenue budget. That is the Facilities Improvement Fund and County Allocation, that is equitable share with amounts of Kenya shillings 306,098,200 and 200 million respectively, totaling to Kenya shillings 506,098,200, giving a difference of Kenya shillings 104,681,514 being unbudgeted donation. Number 4, further, the statement of comparison of budget and actual amounts reflects use of goods and services budget amount of Kenya shillings 329,165,875, while the approved budget shows a corresponding amount of Kenya shillings 327,780,175, resulting to an explained variance of Kenya shillings 1,385,700. Finally, the statement of approved budget reflects capital, that is development expenditure, amount of Kenya shillings 106,804,325, while the detailed expenditure budget shows capital expenditure amount of Kenya shillings 204,901,350, as summarized below, resulting to an unexplained or unreconciled variance of 998,997,025. That is broken down with a total of 204,901,350. In the circumstances, the accuracy and fair presentation of the financial statements could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officers.
Thank you, Chair. Management noted with regret the treatment of donations in kind valued at 108,530,050 from KEMSA as cash. This amount was equally recognized as receipts in the statement of income. Management wished to inform the committee that this has now been corrected in the financial year 2022-2023 statement. Schedule of donations is attached, Appendix 3.
Back to the, okay, it has several parts.
Thank you, Chair. Part 2, that's number 2, 1.92. We have noted the concern of the auditor. We wish to confirm that donations in kind were valued at Kenya shillings 115,638,484, categorized as 112,638,484, being consumables and includes liquid oxygen for Kenya shillings 4,108,134, which were erroneously omitted and will be corrected in the financial year 2022-23, and equipment at 3 million as per attached schedule, Appendix 4. Honorable Chair, next response is management noted with regret the failure to consider inclusion of donations in the annual budget through supplementary, and wish to inform the committee that this has now been corrected in the financial year 2022-2023 statement. 4. Management has noted the casting error in the budget of medical, clinical, and repair and maintenance, which were erroneously under casting of the budgets by 760,765 and 624,935 respectively. Otherwise, the facility approved budget was 506,098,200, representing 106,804,325, being development and Kenya shillings 399,293,875 as recurrent expenditure. 5. No, I think that is 5. The construction of civil works and construction of non-residential building is one budgetary line. The construction of non-residential is a sub-item within the civil works. Management has since corrected the same in the financial year 2022-2023. We have also noted an areas of a casting of the development budget, I think, by 1,385,700. Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
The issue is not yet addressed. Thank you.
Members? Honorable Seth-Kumu.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I will be specific to the monies that are spent, and the CEO is admitting that they spent money without declaring it for supplementary budget. That being the case, having admitted that they spent money without it being budgeted for, are they also admitting to face the consequences of spending money that has not been budgeted for? That's my question, Chair.
Back to the CEO.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. First, let me say that yes, we have actually admitted the error, or actually the challenge that we did not factor in this until after the supplementary budget. What happened is that this came on board after we had already gotten or approved the supplementary budget. I think Bernard will give us more details. But Chair, I just wanted to mention something of importance here, that the facility or JOOTRH did not have a donation policy. And the last 1 month I've been in the state, we have actually established and approved a donation policy on how to manage all donations. We also recognize the fact that donations have to be in our books of account. It's actually an item in our financial book that must always be recognized. And therefore, I would like to say that let Bernard give us more details of what exactly happened, and then we probably can put
No, Buonasio, before that, Honorable Member.
I don't believe that the donation policy of JOOTRH supersedes the Public Finance Management Act. With or without the donation policy of the hospital, they still had to abide by the Public Finance Management Act that requires them to declare any income and have it in the budget. And Chair, a supplementary budget is not done once. We can even do 10 supplementaries in a financial year. So the excuse of saying that the donation came when we had done the supplementary, to me, does not make sense, because once they receive the money, they inform the assembly, we sit down and pass for them a supplementary, even with just that section of JOOTRH only being affected. So there is no excuse of saying that we had passed a supplementary. We can do as many supplementaries as we receive money or as we need to adjust our budget. Thank you, Chair.
Buonasio, you are trying to insinuate that you are working in our PIC. You are not under the laws of Kenya and regulations like PMF Act. This is the guiding principles. How comes you talk about creating your own issues without referring to the parent law of the land? Because you are guided very clearly how to treat that. And by the way, how are your accountants treating donations money? Because that is now, when it is given to you, it is not given to the hospital, but it is given to the public. The moment it reaches there, it is now a public thing altogether. How do you treat this when you are now doing your accounting? Maybe I can hear from the accountant, because we must be very clear. You can't say you receive some money and you don't know where to put it. And we have a guiding principle on PMF Act. So how do you treat this? Because it has to be very clear. You have to come out very clear on this.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I think let me clarify. I do not mean that our policy supersedes the law. It's very, very clear that we have to abide by the law, and it is true that the PFM Act indicates very clearly that we have to recognize no donations. In fact, it has to be in our books. But also it's very important for daily operations of an organization that we also develop our own internal operation systems, like policies that can actually help and guide us, even to attain that legal framework. And that's what I was saying, that we are just introducing. For example, I think when it comes to pharmaceuticals, we get donations of medicine, for example, even from small NGOs. It is so important for us to see how best do we receive them, how do we store them, how do we even distribute them, and even how do we recognize, such a donation. We also have to have a policy on actually how to refuse donations. There are some donations, you get medicines which are almost expiring, or probably that we don't require. So that's why it is imperative that probably you have to develop an internal mechanism of how to manage some of these things. But the law overrides. So let me ask Bernard to proceed, I think, on the nitty-gritties of how we handle this theory.
Thank you, Chair. Donations, as regulated in the PFM Act, we are supposed to recognize them as income, and then we're supposed to expense them off. In this case, the donation we are talking about is, they were goods. They were not in monetary terms. These were goods that were donated
by KEMSA through the national government. They brought us drugs towards the end of the financial year. So as we were looking for the donations and trying to compile the donations, we realized that we just received donations for cancer drugs worth 108 million. And that's why we were saying that this came in at a particular time when we were doing our financial statement, and we are actually closing the books of the account by that time. So again, I will just plead for your indulgence that this now, because in the finance we are also allowed to create a provision, and that is what we have done in this financial year, that we have been able to create a provision for donations, just in case there are certain donations that are likely to come by, so that when they come, we are able to consider them at the right time. Thank you.
Maybe we have to take you to the PMF Act 138(8), and it says, the recipient of a grant or a donation from a development partner shall record the amount or value of the grant or donation in its books of account. Did you have the value for what was donated? And why was it not reflecting in your books if you had the value?
Thank you, Chair. We did what the PFM Act stipulates, and that's why we have a value of 108 million. Because we received the donations, we recorded them, we valued them, and we have reported them in the financial statement. The only mistake that occurred is that we never passed a supplementary budget for the donation. But in terms of capturing the donations, recording and valuing them, that we were able to achieve, and that's why we have a figure in our financial statement of 108 million.
The committee may like to understand, when did you receive the donation, so that we know whether they came during the financial year in question. It is very important that we know that, so that you can also absolve yourself from this. And the most important thing, it is not just a matter of being verbal, but we need evidence.
Thank you, Chair. I've attached a schedule of the donation for verification to the auditors. Maybe further going, what we can be able to find out is the dates on which they arrived, which we can be able to provide to this committee, so that they are able to see when these donations arrived to the hospital, because they came in form of goods. They are just drugs that were brought from the national government to the facility. Thank you.
Honorable Akwach.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I wish to know from the management the total amount of donation that was received, because reflection in the financial statement was 115 million, but understand senior accountant talks of 108 million. So I don't know which is which. I wish to know the total amount that was received.
Thank you. Management.
Thank you, Chair. We received a total of 115 million. However, in terms of financial, you categorize this cost in the relevant buckets. So the whole goods were not only specifically for the medical drugs. We also had purchase of oxygen of 4 million. We also had some equipment, some little equipment of 4 million that were also provided, which falls under the assets and could not be recognized under medical cost. Thank you. But however, the total donation received for that financial year is 115 million. So 108 I'm talking about is just specifically for goods.
Were these other donations captured
Yes, Chair, they were captured, and that's why the auditor has raised a concern on the whole total amount of 115 million.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, Senior Accountant has explained it well that the 108 were captured under medical cost. And then the remaining, I think, 7 million came in other forms. Where was it reconciled?
Management?
Chair, as in our response, in the schedules that we have provided, we have done the reconciliation of the same and provided that to the auditors. So in that reconciliation, we have been able to separate in terms of the different voters that these donations were captured.
So who is misleading the House? Because the auditor is saying that all these matters are not resolved, but you are claiming it is resolved. Who is misleading this House? Talk, they are here. The auditors are here. You want to know who is misleading the House?
Thank you, Chair. Nobody is misleading the House. Actually, what I'm talking about is a replica of what the auditors have raised as a concern. The only difference is that it has come in another number. The first issue they raised was 108. The second issue they have raised is 115, which now combines the whole supplementary, the whole budget of donation that we were not able to provide at the supplementary budget. However, we are all on the same note with the auditors. And with our opening remarks, which we said, we can only amend this statement going forward. And you have given us a leeway. Then that is the only leeway that we have that we can be able to correct this statement. However, the whole donation was captured at 150.
Honorable Kumu.
Chair, I get the interest of CPA Benandege on correcting the statements. But our biggest interest as an assembly and as members is on the prudent use of funds. And this report is a pointer whether you are using money correctly or not. And on that note, Chair, my question is, and the reason why we really prefer that all donations are captured and budgeted for. Case in point, you had budgeted for oxygen, and then somebody donates money or donates oxygen worth 4 million. So what do you do with your budget for oxygen? Where do you take it? Knowing that when you spend money, right now, monies are spent on voted. The voted for oxygen, unless we supplement, will remain the voted for oxygen. So what do you do with such monies in your budget? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Such monies are savings, and therefore, through the same process, you can be able to reallocate them to areas where more funds are required to be used.
Honorable Kumu.
Through you, Chair. Through which process? This same process? You are making it look like we had talked about a process, and now you're just referring to a process that we had mentioned. Which same process are you referring to?
Any alteration in the budget has to go through the full process of supplementary review of the budget. And therefore, if there is any saving, in this case there was no savings, that this was during the COVID period. So the national government was only supplementing with the oxygen that we have, because even the one we had was not adequate to be able to serve the community. So there were two categories. The hospital managed to come up with an oxygen plant, but there are patients that cannot be taken direct to oxygen through the oxygen plant. They need a pure oxygen, and therefore the government supplemented with the liquid oxygen to be able to support these patients. Thank you.
One accountant, you are trying to tell us that there are some patients that require pure oxygen, and some can get substandard oxygen from Jaramogi, and you are trying to say Jaramogi supplies substandard oxygen at some time or now, because from your statement it is very clear. Or Bwana CEO, are you getting all this information very clearly? Are you really, you know, it's your time. You said you are only some weeks old in the hospital. You know, it is now your time now to understand what is happening in your, where you are in charge. It's also a learning process. You don't need to answer this. You just have to get your boys answering very clearly what is happening in the hospital, and it is quite this.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, it is a learning curve, and I'm also learning what is happening at Jaramogi. But I think I can only respond to the issue of the pure oxygen or non-pure oxygen. The point here is that we do not discriminate on patients. However, there are levels of oxygen that is actually produced. We have saturation levels, you know, and some saturation levels are probably from 70% to about 100%. So I think depending on the medical requirement, there are some patients who probably only require about saturation levels of about 80% and not 100%. So I think that's what basically was trying to say. Not that we discriminate on patients who have pure and others don't have pure. Thank you, Chair.
By the way, that was not an audit query. You know, it was just our interest, because, you know, we have to be macho kabisa. So one thing which is also there. Now, in a situation where you budgeted for the oxygen and fortunately you got a donor, what happened to this money which was budgeted for the oxygen? You said it is done. How is it done? How do you handle this? And how is it reported in the books of account? Maybe I'm not accountant, but I have to understand this.
Thank you, Chair. First, the donated one, we captured under donation. The savings, if at all it is realized, then we are supposed to request to be allowed to reallocate it to other areas that are in need of funds through a supplementary budget.
And where was your request done? Because you received some 10, you used it without supplementing, and there is also another budget which you had, which was also used without being supplemented. What is that scenario?
The budget that we had was not adequate based on the financial resource envelope that we have. And therefore, this that we got as an additional support from the national government actually was to supplement us, supplementing the deficit that we had. Ideally, the amount that was allocated for oxygen would not support service delivery in the facility. And therefore, this one is just to supplement, and that's why the government realized that unless they come in during COVID, they would have not managed, many lives could have been lost. Thank you.
We must remind you before we clear with these questions, very clear, that even 1 shillings you are not allowed to use beyond your budget without. Are you aware? So there's no small money, big money. Even if it was small, the moment it is beyond whatever you are budgeted for, it has to come back to the house. So you are in breach of the law. Are you understanding that?
Yes, sir.
And we'll go on with our reports and everything. We'll recommend for the best things. Next question. Oh, before that, Honorable Akwach.
Honorable Chair, there is also a query on use of goods and services, whereby the budgeted amount was 327, while the actual spending was 329. The spending was 329, the approved budget was 327, bringing a variance of 1.3. where did the management, what was the source of this overspending of 1.3? Because it was used outside the budget. Thank you.
Management.
Thank you, Chair. The whole issue again here was that on the recapitulation of the budgeted amount for medical goods and services was 329,165,875, while approved budget shows a corresponding of 327, resulting to an explained variance of 1,385,700. In our response, we have stated that there was an undercasting of 760,000 and 624,000 respectively. The overall approved budget for the facility was 506,098,200, representing 106,804 being development and 399,294 as recurrent expenditure. Thank you.
So where did you find the extra? Because you did not budget for it, you did not receive it from anywhere, but you found you spent it. So where did you, 1 point something? Could you narrow on that?
Chair, as I've rightfully put, it was an undercast in terms of the budgets. However, in the overall budget, there was no over or under because we did not realize the revenues that were supposed to be received for the whole financial year. And therefore, this was just a typo error, an error that occurred, which we have now been able to correct.
Honorable Kwach.
Honorable Chair, I think it is very regrettable that we can report errors in financial statements. We can make errors and report them. And I think even in some of the responses by management, they are regretting a lot. Our management needs to be a little bit keen because these are issues of public funds. Let us not just report things, then we come and defend ourselves that we regret it was an error. I don't think that one is allowable. Let us do the correct things once and for all.
Honorable Kumu.
Chair, after regretting that it was an error, are they willing to take responsibility for the error they've done within the confines of law?
Very clear. Now that it is the way it is, who is liable? You know, these things you did them, you know, we are not with you there. We are in the assembly, and you are the people who are doing them. So now that you are here, is it the MCS or the accounting officers?
Thank you, Chair. We are saying that the errors, we are moving forward, we are going to correct the errors. And as we already agreed that we do an amendment, because these were just figures that when they are being transferred from one source to the other, we erroneously captured the wrong figure. So I'm asking for your indulgence and the House that this is something that can be corrected, and then we have a clean document. Thank you.
Rakwacha, do you have something to say?
because senior accountant, who is my good friend, is saying that these errors sometimes occur when they transfer data. And now, will we be sure that this is the only error, or we still have some other errors? Or maybe whatever has been read here, we still have, maybe they are not the true figures that they intended to put. That is what I'm wondering about. Maybe just a point of advice. Let us be keen on these figures when we are making entries. Let us just be keen on these figures. Let us not do it as it happened in Kenyan Treasury, National Treasury, when we had a typo error of several billions. So let us just be keen. Otherwise, we proceed.
Maybe financial director has something to say. I hope you are not going to talk about I'm new in this, I'm new. Could you please give us, because you are now in charge?
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge what Honorable has said, that errors may occur. And in prepare the financial statement, when such errors occur, actually they should be corrected, because auditors normally point them out in the management letter. There's a way that it should be corrected. So as the CPA has said, that going forward, we as the management, we are going to ensure that we minimize on these errors, and if they occur, we correct them before they are escalated to the next level. But I also want to say that Ben is a very competent accountant. He was there alone, and the rate is very big. Preparation of the financial statement involved a lot of processes. But being that we are now there to assist and aligning the financial structure in Jaramogi, I think such errors going forward, we are going to minimize them. But we want to really apologize for that. Yeah, thank
you. Thank you. Chair, I have listened, and I think it's in order. I just want to really give an advice. Errors should be within a margin which is minimal. When like 90% is errors, then it's not an error. So moving forward, it should be within that margin, the minimal margin level. Thank you.
Finally, we have to put it very clear to you people. You know, it is we are supplementing each other in terms of the kind of work. We want Kisumu County to move, but you must realize that you are in a public entity. This is not personal property where you can just write your own things and present to the House. You have to be accountable on these issues. It is your responsibility to see that the Jaramogi delivers on the services and whatever activities given to it. But the moment you come here, you know, I told you you are a big brother in the county. You are a big brother. Everybody is looking at you. You are setting a pace. The moment you fail to set a pace, and now we get the same results from Kombewa, you also have the same problem. And there's no excuse that huyo alikuwa mtu, alikuwa peke yake. The standard will always remain, even if you are there, even if you are 10 people in the office. You must keep the standard. There's accounting standard which must always be there too. You have to do that. And by the way, within the department, we have a lot of accounts. Why did you not ask for the accounts from the department so that you handle this issue, given the prominence of Jaramogi? So, as much as you are trying to are struggling to answer some questions, you have to know that this is a public entity and you must act responsibly and answerable to the public through members of the county assembly. I think we are going to proceed to question 20. 20. Back to the data.
The next issue is 2.0, which is on unsupported and inaccurate property, plant, and equipment balance. The statement of financial position reflects property, plant, and equipment balance of Kenya shillings 77,565,375, which, as disclosed in Note 22 to the financial statements, reflects assets acquired during the year under review, which were additions. However, the balance excludes value of RAD, motor vehicles, and ICT equipment. This is despite the fact that the hospital sits on a parcel of RAD, hard ambulances, and other types of vehicles, and various types of ICT equipment, including computers and networking infrastructure. Further, the fixed asset register provided for audit did reflect various items of property, plant, and equipment with nil values. Although the balance includes Kenya shillings nil amount in respect of capital works in progress, Annex 3 on status of project implementation indicates that radiotherapy center and neurosurgical ward costing Kenya shillings 165,622,113 and Kenya shillings 18,226,440 were still in progress with completion levels of 62% and 88% respectively. In addition, the statement of financial position reflects trade and other payables balance of Kenya shillings 108,180,106, which includes retention monies of Kenya shillings 6,696,968 relating to construction of non-residential building. Additionally, the title D for the parcel of RAD occupied by the hospital was not provided for audit examination because, according to explanation provided by the management, it went missing in October 2020 and efforts to trace it had been unsuccessful. Management has indicated that all buildings, all equipment, and all furniture in use before 1st July 2021 had not been accounted for since they were inherited from the Ministry of Health and had not been valued by 30th June 2022. Also, the relationship between the hospital and the county government of Kisumu regarding ownership of assets used by the hospital was not clarified. In the circumstance, property, plant, equipment balance of Kenya shillings 77,565,375 is both inaccurate and incomplete. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officers.
Thank you, Chair. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital has concluded the process of valuation of land and buildings and has involved the Department of Lands for processing of the ownership of documents as per attached documents, Appendix 5. Attached to this report. The hospital is not able to get valuation and ownership documents for movable assets inherited from the Ministry of Health, as no formal handing over was done as the transition period. We shall consult with the CEC Health and Finance for further guidance. However, we will ensure that all movable assets are disclosed in the financial statement.
Chair, the issue has not yet been addressed.
Back to the members. Honorable Ere.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, my question will be, what has the management done to fast track the process of obtaining ownership?
Maybe to the management.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think first of all, let me say that on the issue of valuations, as management, we have managed to value our non-movable assets, that is land. What is still outstanding is non-movable assets, that is vehicles and other equipment. And for that, we have already written to the department concerned, Public Works, to assist us, to undertake that valuation. I think on the issue of other ownership, for example, I think the title, we have managed to get the title, and therefore it's in our custody. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kumu.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I'm wondering why the hospital has not accounted for things like furniture. What do they need to account for furniture? And they are saying that their reason is because they were inherited from Ministry of Health. Chair, is that reason enough? That if you get things from the Ministry of Health, then you are unable to account for them? Furniture. I'll excuse you for land, maybe another equipment, but I'm just giving an example with furniture. Accounting for furniture.
Yeah. Management.
Thank you, Chair. We have been able to account for furnitures that are acquired from the period of 2013 when devolution came in place. However, the furnitures that we have not been able to get their values are what we inherited from the national government. Some 1 month or 2 months ago, the national government under the current president had sent people down on the ground to come and jumpstart the process of transiting these equipments. And they came to our hostel. We have been able to give them all the documentations, and therefore we are anticipating that with that we'll be able to get value of all the assets. However, I must also say that the valuation of assets requires a huge amount of money that going forward we may be able to present to the Assembly to be able to give us an approval in terms of valuing these assets.
Chair, on a point of order.
Yes, Honorable Member.
Chair, whatever the accountant is reading is different from what's in this report, because it's written, management has indicated that all buildings, all equipments, and all furniture in use before 1st July 2021 had not been accounted for. All does not leave anything. All means everything, all the furnitures. So saying that they had accounted for furnitures that they bought from 2013 negates what's written here, because it's written all. Thank you, Chair.
That is from 2013. From 2013.
This management has indicated that all buildings, all equipments, and all furniture in use before 1st July 2021. That means they have only accounted for furniture maybe after July 2021. If my English is correct. So anything before July 2021 had not been accounted for, and their reason is because they had inherited them from MOH, Ministry of Health. I don't know if I'm getting it right.
Maybe, and do you have a radiotherapy machine?
Honorable Chair.
And does it has a, do we have any cost on it? And how did you find its cost? If you can't find the rest, how did you find the cost of this machine? And why was it not reported if it has the cost?
Honorable Chair, I don't think we have a radiotherapy machine.
You don't have?
We don't. But if I can, Honorable Chair, with your permission.
Yes.
If I can go back to
yes.
the question asked by Honorable Kumu, the issue of all equipment or furniture is actually indicated there, and I think it was reported by the auditor. And for us, I think we just want to make a clarification that we are saying that all items assets that within were actually for national government, or even maybe the former municipalities or county council, whatever it's called. All those were never fully transited to our institution, and even probably even the county government. I think prior to 2013, I think the process was stalled somewhere, and now the county national government is taking it up from last month. However, I think we've even gone ahead to put a rider that all this will actually be, I think in our last statement there, I think in our response, we have said that notwithstanding that, we will ensure that all movable assets are disclosed in the financial report.
Chair, I think the CEO and the accountant is giving me conflicting information. The accountant had said that they have accounted for, I was specific on furniture. I was very specific on furniture, and he said that the furnitures that they had bought from 2013, when devolution started, they have accounted for them. The CEO is now saying that all those things belong to the national government. Not belong to them, so they cannot account for them. So I don't know who is telling me the truth. I'm specific on furniture. Just leave the rest out of it. Just furniture. I'm just wondering why you can't account for furniture. Only that. Furniture. Is it true that all the furnitures that are in Jaramogi Oginga Odinga teaching and referral belong to the national government?
Yeah, Honorable Chair.
Accounting officers.
Honorable Chair, I just want to correct this. What we are saying is that any furniture that we procured or acquired as Jaramogi since 2013, we can account for it. What we are saying is that any furniture that we actually inherited from government, national government, we cannot account for it because they have not been valued. That's what we are saying.
Then that is different with what the auditor is saying, because the auditor is saying all furniture are not accounted for. And that's my interest, because I want to know if the auditor, are you trying to insinuate that the auditor was lying? Because you are trying to say that some of the furniture you can account for, but the auditor is saying that all furniture you could not account for as of the time of audit. Chair, maybe we give it to the auditor to tell us what they meant.
We just pose the question to the auditor, which is very clear. Auditor, why are you misleading the House? The question is very clear. But auditor, you are misleading the House.
Chair, I'll be specific to that item. The issue was management has indicated that all building, all equipment, and all furniture in use before 1st July 2021 had not been accounted for since they were inherited from the Ministry of Health and had not been valued as at 30th June 2022. In this report which I'm reading, there is a financial statement which have been attached to this certificate. And in that financial statement, if you go, I'll give you a copy. If you go to page 31, that item for furniture, I don't know if it is attached there because I'm reading from the certificate itself. I'm reading from the certificate. That item for furniture, fitting, and office equipment, if you check at it, balance as at 1st July 2021 is nil. And then there below there, we have now additions. The additions have now the figure of 1,084,679. I may submit the copy of the financial statement for your information.
Sergeant Atam.
Sergeant Atam is there.
Send him away from
the old man is gone. I think while receiving that, Okumu has just stated very clearly from 2013 up to now. You are talking about 2013. You have never bought any furniture, and you can't quantify the kind of furniture you have, apart from for the national government which you inherited. Is it true? Even if you go to your records, we will not find you buying furniture and such kind of things. And if that was the case, you could not actually quantify the ones from the national government. Why did you not do yours, which you bought? Because there's what we call tear and wear. They don't happen in Jaramogi, accounting officers.
Thank you, Chair. As you look at the report that the auditors just presented, it shows we had additions, and that means those are the furnitures that we were able to acquire, and it is captured in our financial report. However, it's also worth noting that the facility was making their financial report. This was the first financial report made independently by the hostel. The other reports were being consolidated in the county financial report. And therefore, if there were other furnitures that were bought during that transition, they were captured in the county financial report. And therefore, again, it's like the hostel has got two different stages that it has to pass through to be able to get the correct valuation report. We have to start with the national government to do the evaluation and hand over the figures for national government. Then the county government, before the hostel started to do their independent financial report, can also be able to give us the valuation for what we are able to acquire during that time. Thank you.
Honorable Kum.
Thank you, Chair. You know, the statement keeps on changing. At one point, you said that from 2013, you can account for the furniture. Now you are saying the furniture that were from 2021 going backward might be accounted for by the department because the facility was not doing independent audits. And in the report, you gave the reason that all those furnitures belong to the national government, and that's why you could not account for them. Chair, you can see there's something that is missing here, and that shows the competency of the officers that we're having, just accounting for furniture that they bought. It would be better if they told us, in this particular year, we are able to account for all that we bought, but we are struggling to have those ones that the national government gave us evaluated so that we can have their figures. But when you are telling the auditor that all those furniture belong to the national government and we cannot account for them because they were not evaluated, and yet the county government bought furniture and gave the hospital. I know if we dig deep into your books, we'll find expenditures for furniture from 2013 when devolution came. And denying that we don't have them, to me, does not add value to the work that we want done in that hospital, Chair. If we cannot do those simple things of accounting for just furniture, I would excuse them for land because we are struggling to have the ownership. But furniture, see, I don't agree. And the questions that you and the accountant is giving us contradicting, that means you guys don't work together. And without the two of you working together, how else are we going to move that hospital to the next level? How possible is that? If before this house, the answer you gave the Auditor General, the answer you are giving and the answer that the accountant is giving are all different. Chair, I submit.
And maybe you must have forgotten that you are under oath. You know, when you are lying, and you are lying against your submissions to the auditor. At the same time, it is quite funny. Honorable James.
Chair, I'm just with my colleague on the same wavelength. You see, Chair, devolution started in 2013. Until now, it is sold, I think, over 10 years. I cannot imagine if we have not bought the equipments like chair, tables, whatever they are, computers. So the reasoning here that everything in Jaramogi belongs to national government is not really validated. Even this financial year we are questioning, there are some things which were bought and not declared in the report. So seemingly there is a lot that has not been declared, and I don't know how we can rectify this. And it all begs my question of competency, because just knowing that this year we procured these and we paid for and they are here, Even a primary school head teacher would do that if they bought 1 chair or 2 chairs for that financial year in question. And you find that we are having nil, begging the question that this competency matter in terms of doing this report in Ramogi is really worrying me. And Chair, we need to have this report for all the assets we have in Jaramogi, leave alone the ones from national government. It's a process, the taking over, handing over from MOH to county government has taken a long time from 2013 up to now. So the current ones, whether they are donated, whether they are bought with the county funds, whether they're bought by themselves through FIF, we need to have this record. And I think just asset registers to validate all this, we need to get it. Thank you, Chair.
There was also a report on the loss of the title deed. And was it reported? Because that is a public, and you got it all, or did not get it? That is also very clear. You will summarize. Honorable Matara, you will.
Thank you, Chair. My question is, your response for non-inclusion of some assets in the balance sheet was due to lack of unknown values to be assigned. How comes the hospital had 2 ongoing projects whose costs were well determined but still were not reported? That is radiotherapy center and neurosurgical ward, costing to Kenya shilling 165,522,113 and Kenya shilling 18,226,440 respectively.
How comes these projects are going on and you did the cost very clear, and you talk about, and they were not also reported. Obviously they are not reported. Why? And they are ongoing. I hope the public fund is being used on these things. Even if it is 50%, it has to be reported that it has gone up to 50% of that amount. So why?
Thank you, Chair. The 2 projects, that is the neurosurgical and the radiotherapy center, the cost was well known and they were actually reported. What the auditor is pointing out is that we reported them as complete other than as work in progress, but they were captured in the financial statement. Thank you.
Director of Finance.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to add on the issue of the assets that were not reported. And I acknowledge what the comment from the members. From 2013 up to 2021, the consolidated financial report was actually being done by the county. So you realize that the assets that were purchased during that particular period were actually being reported in the county reports. So it means that if Jaramogi was to go on and have the balance, then it means that that one will arrive at the case of double reporting. I think that's why the accountant, in his own wisdom, did not declare the opening balances in that particular when reporting for the asset, but went ahead and just stated additions for the assets that you were able to account for in the year 2021, 2022. So, but if you could have gone ahead and bring the opening balance, it means that at the county level, there is also an opening balance that is running, and that will bring a case of double reporting. Thank you.
Honorable Kumu?
I don't understand. Sometimes we use jargons to confuse us. Double reporting to who? Because the county will now be audited on its own, and the hospital is being audited on its own. So who will they be double reporting to? And in any case, Chair, all these reports that are being consolidated on the county originate from the hospital. So if the county has any values of furniture and buildings, then they have come from the hospital. So they need to be having their data, which they send there. I don't think they send everything and they rub everything and then they forget. If you had 12 furnitures valued 200 shillings and you had sent it to the county headquarters, you still have that data with you. And when the auditors come, you can just give it to them. Chair, that's my concern over there.
Through the chair, that's well acknowledged, Honorable Kumu. But what I'm explaining is from 2013, for example, in 2013, Sumu County purchased furniture worth 100,000. And this furniture is actually taken to Jaramogi. They capture and report that one in their books of accounts. It means that if Jaramogi goes ahead and declares that one in their books of account, the consolidated report prepared by the Treasury will report 100,000. Jaramogi is also reporting 100,000. Any entity exists in continuity. It means that they will report what was purchased in that particular year, then do the depreciation, then have the closing balance, then the opening balance. So if this opening balance is normally carried forward.
Through Chair, I totally get what he's saying, but they are auditing now differently. Jaramogi is being audited alone, and they will no longer report what you've been audited for. I think for that financial year. So I don't think there's an excuse of saying because you had reported it to the headquarters, then you don't need to report it. Because in that particular financial year, you are now being separated. You are now alone. You are standing alone. You are reporting your things alone.
Before you...
Yeah, Chair, I think it has to be clear. One, all the audit reports which come from Jaramogi by then ought to have originated from Jaramogi. There is no way the Treasury will do an audit without the raw data coming from Jaramogi. And that is our point, that at a point now you are detaching. You have the raw data with you, which you are now submitting to Treasury to do their consolidated report. So you are now responsible for your own raw data and report the same to the auditors. So at that point, when the departure was happening, you had a raw data, which you had previously given to the Treasury for their own auditing of the consolidated audit report of the county. So what happened to this data? That's our question, because seemingly at that point, everything became nil. And you didn't report it the other side for them to consolidate the way they have been doing it for several years. And now on your own, you also don't have this raw data. Because even the data they are relying on at the executive and their report has to come from Jaramogi. You have to tell them, we have this chair, we have this computer, we have... It is from you. It doesn't originate from anywhere. So I think it has to come here, Chair, that we need this certainty that there were things before this audit and they were not really included. Where are they? The data is there. Thank you.
Being the generators of the data, actually the department will never find any data unless you generate it. And you must be having your copy left in the office. Maybe you have a poor way of keeping your records and all that. You just have to admit that you may be having a poor way so that we advance. You don't have a clear policy on how you handle your records, data, and all those things in Jaramogi. But I see, are you getting this? Because we can't get proper answer from these people. It's from your people. It is very clear. They are blaming the department, and now you are left to be audited alone. Now that you are left to stand alone, what is the way forward in terms of data? You must own that you have the data, the raw data. You have them. Why don't you use them to value, or to give the exact value if it is devalued? What is happening? There must be something happening. What is your response?
Thank you, Chair. And I want to appreciate the pain, I think, of the members, the honorable members here. I can feel the way they really emphasize that we need to get this accurate information. Because it's very important. I think we all agree that we have this information. We even have, I think, even the assets themselves, whether they are movable or not movable. So I want to say that we have the information, we have the data. I think what is very critical is for us really to put our house in order, particularly our asset register, so that our asset register, is continuously improved, continuously updated, so that even with the press of our finger, it's possible even to have it automated, so that we know exactly what furniture and even their values that we have. So I agree that there should be a dichotomy. The day we became an audited entity and before when we were under account. So I want to assure this committee that one, I think we are very good officers. In fact, the competencies of these officers, is not done. Even academic credentials, even their professional credentials. I think probably just the circumstances that they have been operating in that has caused some of these omissions. But one thing I can assure you that there is no loss. I think maybe probably that could be attributed to this.
Okay.
I think we want to comfort the committee, the honorable members, that we are going to actually ensure that we have an asset register that is continuously, upgraded or permanently, inbuilt into our system, so that we can know, not only our furniture, even whatever pin we actually acquire, because it's actually public resource.
Bonacio, the concern is very clear. We want to wind up on this. The concern is very clear. You have a lot of equipments, and some are very expensive, and you offer services to people, to the public. How really do you track your equipments? If you seem to be having no record is with the how, given the nature of a human being, where even a doctor can steal a microscope. How are you ready with the kind of confusion you have in the hospital? Will you be in a position of tracking equipments within the hospital? You can just wind aloud. You don't need to answer that, because we are also we are concerned. You have to give services to the people. And here is a case where you can't trace. You don't know where the microscope is. The way you talk, you don't know where the microscope is. Surgical equipments are. You don't know. How will you protect the public property then, with the absence of such kind of data and everything, if they are lying with the department? You see the kind of picture you are giving to the public. I told you that thing is on public, and they are seeing what you are answering and how you are managing the hospital.
But Chair, just to emphasize, they might not know the cost of pens, but if you can't, all buildings, including the building that we are funding, that you always appropriate for, you should know the value, how much money we are having spent on that building currently, how much we need more. If we don't know that, then how are we progressing as a facility? Some of those things, I think, when I see all buildings, we recently just constructed houses for doctors there. They had value. And depreciation cost is provided for in law. Then you can just depreciate and then give a value. But when they say all buildings, all, including the doctors' units that we constructed, you are giving reason that they were from the national government. I don't agree. I don't agree.
including that machine which was used to treat the governor in the they don't know where it is. It is not there. I don't know whether the governor was trying to do something quite funny, so that is no, it's quite funny. Even somebody, how do you understand? But anyway, let us continue. We'll write our reports. Next question. Auditors.
The next issue is on 3.0, which is on unsupported waivers and exemptions. The statement of financial performance reflects revenue from exchange transactions of Kenya shillings 126 million, 484,742, which is net of waivers and exemptions of Kenya shillings 16 million 660,803 and Kenya shillings 3 million 240,140 respectively, totaling to Kenya shillings 19 million 909,43. However, the documentation detailing the process and approvals of granting these waivers and exemptions was not provided for audit. In the circumstance, the accuracy and completeness of the revenue from exchange transactions of Kenya shillings 126 million 484,742 and the legality of granting the waivers and exemptions of Kenya shillings 19 million 909,43 could not be confirmed.
Back to the accounting officers.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members of the County Assembly. The management provided the summarized departmental waivers, and we regret not providing itemized list of patients waived in the financial year under review due to our system update. Management has since updated the system and now has the itemized list of waivers and exemptions and forwarded the same to the Office of the Auditor General for verification. That is in Appendix 6. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, we are saying the issue has been partially addressed in that even though the management have provided now those lists, the list of the patients who are given the waivers, the issue remains: why did the management fail to provide the list then during the exercise? Thank you, Chair.
Members, Honorable James.
It's working. Yeah, I think next time what need to be done is to be backing up hard copies for every month, so that at the time of the audit you have real data in hard copies, so that you don't come, because the reason was the software, I think, was being updated, and they could not generate the whole list during the time of audit. So it will be advisable for them to be printing every first of every month, so that, or every quarter, that is, so that by the time they are being audited, they have something to show. So even at least partially, not nil the way they did, but so far so good. We have seen the list and of the waivers. Thank you.
Honorable Kumu.
Chair, on waivers, I think I want to agree that the hospital does provide waivers. And if they explain that they didn't have, that they were upgrading their system, that's why they couldn't provide, I would agree with them, because some of these people we know, and the beneficiaries we know. But just to make it easy so that people don't doubt that you really provide waivers, I think I'll go with what the honorable member has mentioned. And Chair, to cushion the hospital against waivers, I think we need to, during budgeting, put extra monies for them. Because they say in this world there's nothing for free. If you think it's for free, somebody has paid for them. So for them to provide waivers, it means they are cutting other costs that they should provide. So we really need to cushion them as they provide waivers to the hospital. So on waivers, I would really support. But I think in the next audit, please provide this list early so that the auditor doesn't doubt that you really do waivers. we can actually know, but if you don't provide the papers to support it, they will always bring that audit query. Thank you.
Yeah, Chair, I saw one African, someone who doesn't have a name, so I just want to understand someone being described as African something, there is a figure so that I know what it is, because that is not human being. Thank you.
Maybe a dead body. They will just have to explain. Back to you.
Thank you, Chair. Unknown Africa is somebody who is brought to the hostel, but we are not able to determine the name by then, but we offered treatment and care. Thank you.
I can see Director of Finance nodding. Do you have something to say? Maybe you have something to say. Or you are nodding. No, he did not. He did not. He could not be identified by name, but he was found in the hospital, maybe brought by somebody and left there. So they could not do that. I saw, Director, at least you have some question which you answered right this time. Maybe that is why you are nodding.
Yeah. I just want to appreciate Honorable Kumu and the members for acknowledging that waivers exist and promising to caution it in the next financial year. We really appreciate that.
And you will have to defend it when you come to the assembly. You will have to defend it. So prepare it so nicely so that when you come to defend your budget as Jaramogi, we can sympathize with you. But without that, we'll not just do it. Thank you. Getting to question 4.0.
Issue 4.0 is on unsupported bank balance in retention fund account. The issue is the statement of financial position reflect cash and cash equivalent balance of Kenya shillings 50 million to 26,991, which as disclosed in note 19 to the financial statement includes a balance of Kenya shillings 6,696,968 held in a cooperative bank account, whose supporting certificate of balance, cash book, and bank reconciliation statement were not provided for audit. Further, although the balance of Kenya shillings 6,698,968 relates to contractors' retention fee, it was backed in a current account as indicated in note 9 instead of a deposit account. In the circumstance, the accuracy and completeness of the balance of Kenya shillings 6,696,968 held in retention account could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the accounting officers.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. We regret that cash book and bank reconciliation statements were not provided during the audit exercise. We confirm that the cash book, bank reconciliation statement, and certificate of bank balances at 30th June 2022 have been availed to the Auditor General's Office for verification. Appendix 7 is the evidence. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the auditor.
Thank you, Chair. We have indicated the issue as not addressed in that although the management has provided the cash book and the reconciliations, the pending issue is on which account have this retention money been held at. Thank you, Chair.
Back to the members.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the contention here is on the type of account. I think the auditor is questioning why you used current account and not deposit account. What intentions did the management have while they were doing that?
Before that, just before that, in Arizona, you had the management letter. Why did you not do this within the time which you were given by the auditor? Why did you have to leave these things to appear here in the audited report? Because you had all the time. What happened?
Thank you, Chair. As I earlier on said, the financial reports are being reviewed at different stage. So in the time when we look at the management report, some of these issues were not there. These issues, they come as they continue to review them in different stages. The amount of the retention is actually in the deposit account in the Equity Bank. Thank you.
We are just concerned. Why are these simple things? Why are you neglecting these simple things? Because I don't think we need even a CPA to present all this.
But through you, Chair, if I had the accountant right, he's saying that the tension is in the deposit account at Equity. Did you just say that? But the auditor is saying that the money was banked, retention money, it was banked in a current account as indicated in note 19 instead of a deposit account. So who is saying the truth? Honorable Chair.
You meant to clarify? It is deposited in the current account, and the management is talking about deposit account. With who is telling the truth? Who is misleading the House?
Chair, nobody is misleading the House. The amount is in the deposit account, but however, I think the auditors captured it, reported under current account in the financial report. But the money, as the auditor has asked, is in the deposit account, and therefore, that was the essence of us, the issue being raised so that we can be able to correct, remove it from the row of current account and put it to the row of deposit account. Thank you.
When we talk about, I think, all this financial things we are talking on behalf of everything. Could you please just
explain your side so that we find the auditor's response? Your statement is quite ambiguous.
Yeah, there's something I don't get. Appendix 7, we have the cooperative bank account, and I think the bank reconciliation is there. And when you go to next, I don't know, this is not bank certificate. The next page is not bank certificate. So I'm wondering, now I'm hearing about equity. So I'm wondering, this 6.696, where is the deposit? He's talking about equity. I'm seeing the bank reconciliation of cooperative bank, and the bank account number is there, 1141 something. So under the bank certificate for 30th June of this bank account, I can't trace it. I only saw the one for the other bank account. So maybe you can clarify that. Thank you.
You talked about equity. So could you please narrow to your equity you are talking about in response to that?
Yeah, thank you. Allow me to withdraw the word equity. It is cooperative bank. The hostel has two different retention accounts. We have Equity Bank, and we also have cooperative. During that year, before the move to close the one in cooperative bank, we were still operating at cooperative bank. I only got confused because currently now, the retention account that is operational is Equity Bank. Thank you.
Apologies allowed. You know, you can err on very many things, but the moment you realize it is an issue, you withdraw. That is quite fine. What else do you have? Do you have any member? Yes.
Maybe, Chair, just last one. I don't know if I'm reading this statement right. Let me read it again. Reconciliation statements were not provided for audit. Further, although the balances of 6,696,000 968 relates to contractors' retention money. It was banked in a current account as indicated in note 19 instead of a deposit account. But the accountant is saying that this cooperative bank account is a deposit account, if I got him right. So was the auditor wrong in his conclusion?
Fund accountant.
Thank you, Chair. As I have said, that I acknowledge what the auditor has raised, that in terms of our posting, in terms of the financial report, we posted this figure under current account instead of posting it under deposit. So the auditor is right, and that's why I've said and I've requested that going forward, we are going to correct this anomaly. Thank you.
And one CPA, how do you feel that sir, you are work now, you are disputing, you are accepting, you are doing, how do you feel? Because you must be responsible for what you are doing. Going forward, as I have said.
Chair, it's a learning process. And to me, this develops us even much more better, so that as we move forward, we will end up having the best out of the best. I don't take it as something low. I really take the concerns of members, and I really appreciate where I sit, that this is actually headed to building us to become even much more sharper and do what is right at the right time. Thank you.
Now that you are given another accountant, you are added another accountant, how do you expect what do you expect from you?
Chair, I can say now, we expect a perfect job. Thank
you. Are you on current? Bwana CEO, are you?
Thank you, Chair. I think, as Bernard has said, we actually look upon the county assembly, as a watchdog team, and even the auditors to identify some of our omissions and put us on the right track. And we don't take this, in a negative way. We take it very positively. And also, I think what we have identified where, why we don't, correct this while we still have space with the auditors is something that we're going to really engage in. Because it's not fair for us to have an opportunity with the auditors and then we don't actually correct what's supposed to be corrected. In fact, even the realm of auditing nowadays is no longer that harassment. It is actually a kind of an engagement where we given an opportunity, to make a correction. So what we are saying here is that going forward, Honorable Chair, we will make some of these omissions not happen again, particularly minor errors, small errors. And we have agreed that you can give us room for, very minimal errors. But I think there are some things that probably we are saying going into the future, we should not happen. For example, if they are supposed to have a deposit account, I think it's very clear. There are no two ways about it. It's either white or black. And therefore, if it is a deposit account, we must have those resources in a deposit account. So with the team now, we have the additional staff, and I'm also learning here. I think we're going to make sure that we have prudence and fidelity in how we manage our financial statement.
Maybe any of you may be having something to say. Maybe before you conclude, CEO, everything, our meeting point, the converging point is money. That is why you are doing all the services required. But at the end of everything, we talk about money, money, money. Finance Director, what do you have to say before probably the CEO concludes?
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. I think this is a gap that even the county department of health realized, and that is why they officially advertised the position of finance, director of finance and administration to coordinate issues pertaining finance and issues pertaining administration. Going forward, together with the CEO, we have discussed on the structures that are going to be put in place in Jaramogi to make our reporting structure more efficient and effective. And one of them is automating all our services and all areas that we are offering our services, so that our accountant will have easy time when they are doing a reconciliation. We are also going to do what's called segregation of duties, so that we have the expenditure accountant concentrating on reporting issues, and if there is any issue that the expenditure accountant needs to address, it is addressed before it is picked up with the auditors. That means that we are going to have the credit controller and the debt controller personnel to also help us in the revenue collection wing. So it is a plan that we are having, and I know going forward when we come here and start making the financial statement for 2023-2024, you will see a difference. In addition, we have requested the County Department of Finance to give us internal auditor to be stationed at Jaramogi, so that all the vouchers that we be approving rest of the CEO desk, they are seen by the internal auditor, examined they are like that, the errors that are they are not the work
Chair and the members of this committee. First, let me appreciate being the first time to appear before you, to acknowledge the great wisdom and interrogation that you have taken us through. We take it very, very positive. I just wanted to have it on record that assure you, that the assets we have for the Jaramogi are also actually safe. We have an inventory. We have to get all the assets. In fact, I think the only omission is probably the values. But our MRI, we have a inventory about it, all the other things there, the cities can, I think all the assets, in fact, including the those countries. I think it would be erroneous if we live here thinking that we don't know the assets. We have inventory for all of us. I think where we have a vision is indeed going for to ensure that we value them and also happen. I also want to reiterate and appreciate what the Kuma said, particularly on the issue of indigence. We have indigence and good ways to cannot afford to pay children or these challenges, and therefore we have already established a robust system for social work to ensure that we build some of these people and ensure that we provide them medicine, all the care they want, and also we wait for them to go to the and therefore we want to request practitioners to assist us to have some kind of education so that at the end of the day we do not jeopardize the kind of support that is required for the next patient. Because the next patient comes and they will the other one. We don't have education, we don't have food, it actually become a challenge in terms of service provision. Honorable Chair, I just want to say that as a team, we are going to come back to you, probably not necessarily because of the audit, just to get some legislation to assist us to move forward. For example, in terms of an audit office, I think probably even create some small autonomy in some areas so that we can actually transform this hospital to become the best referral hospital. Already we have been classified and registered as a KBDC at level 6A. But we have a number of challenges that probably without your support we will not manage to do this. I think PC referral is now taking us. Already got our county assembly with a certain part law, giving the hospital some leverage. Now they can actually perform it. My prayer is that we can generate, in fact, from where I'm seated, that hospital can generate up 1.5 billion shillings a year. Even to assist in running the operation, because they reduce the expenditure of the county. Because we know that the county has so much interest on so many areas where they need to support the community. And therefore, it is incumbent upon us and your support to make the Ramogi and the teaching classic referral facility that can generate substantial resources and therefore even assist you to make support. So I want to stop there. Request that you give us the opportunity. I think whenever we are ready, we'll come to you to see if you can give us whatever legislation that is wish for us. Otherwise, I thank you very much for your intervention. And I also appreciate the auditor. I think it's important that we have audits conducted continuously to make our hospital. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maybe to the office of the auditor, we can give one person to crown it up.
Thank you, Chair. We had a good session, and for us, we want to keep it in view to see if the promises by the management that the coming financial statement will be free from these errors which have been highlighted in this report for 2021-2022. It is also our wish that the hospital gets a report which is clean, free of material misstatement, in that you've had, they have got a promotion to level 6, and in that level, they may be getting donors who may give them loans or even grants, and with that, donors, most of the donors rely with our reports, and with that, let's hope that the next report will be clean. Thank you, Chair.
Maybe to the members, Honorable Oikopete, maybe if you have something to say. Honorable Matara. For that, Honorable Oikopete is a friend of the committee, is a member of the County Assembly from Kabonyo Kanyagwal. Thank you, Mheshimiwa, for coming. Matara.
Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you so much, Chair. Actually, I don't need an answer, but the government is going on a zero-fault audit. What are the mechanisms you're working on it? I don't need an answer, but now you know what to do. Yes, that's what I wanted to say though, because we need to be, you have that integrity. I think that's all I can say, because with all these anomalies we are seeing, that's all I can say.
Honorable Kumu.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, one, I will repeat what I've always said. And I want to appreciate Lesiampe for coming. But I know all these expenditures were done when he was not there. I know the office works in perpetuity. But sometimes it's just good that we bring the people who are there when some of these expenditures were being done that were audited. And I know those people are within Kisumu County. Two, Chair, I know the JOOTRH had taken some of these things for granted. You know, in Kenya, even if you are so smart, very smart, but you don't have any papers to show that you are smart, you are considered uneducated. The same with the account. You can spend so money so well on good things that help our people, but if you can't provide facts towards that, then we'll consider you misappropriating money or spending money unwisely. I know you had the cover-up of the department before. Now you are on your own as Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospitals. Please make sure that those papers are there and availed in time to the auditor so that we can prove that you guys are doing so well and the investment we are making on staff in that hospital is giving us results, without which the people will not be convinced and will continue doubting your capabilities. Thirdly, I want to request the accountant, as you are the accountant and continue being the accountant before you are changed, please, there are simple things, very, very simple things that I know you can do. Maybe you just ignore them. Very simple things, like cash flows. I think those are things you can do. So moving forward, let's not have those questions again arising from these audit reports. Honourable members, let's assist this facility to have a title. That is very, very key for me. You are seeing the changes that people are having on matters of land. Somebody will come and claim the hospital before we know it. So as they are struggling, let's assist them in having the title for that hospital moving forward. And again, I repeat, let's cushion them from the waivers that they give our people through the budgeting process. Thank you.
Thank you, Kumu. Honorable Were.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, also take this opportunity to thank our team from the Auditor General Office. Chair, I want to take this chance to appeal to our accounting officers, the management, that try to do your level best. Because when you put your energy and effort in ensuring that we get the best result, it will augur well for our people. The people from this county, even the county executive. When your work is flowing so well, when your books of accounts are well maintained and well kept, it means you will even attract more donor funding. And when you attract more donor funding, it means we are cushioned through not having fear of hitting our revenue target, not having fear of failing to meet part of our budget. I want just to appeal to all of you that please just put your foot and ensure that we get the best. So that when you get your best, we also get pleased with the work. Because everybody, from the governor to everybody within this county, will be happy. I know that facility is not only serving the Kisumu County people. It serves the people from Homa Bay County. It serves the people sometimes even from Migori, Kisii, sometimes even from our neighboring counties. So let us have the best. We don't want to see a lot of errors being queried by our auditors each and every time. There are things, small things that we can do away with. You are able to do it. You are competent. I believe next time when we'll be sitting here, we shall be getting positive results. Otherwise, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Were. Honorable James Omolo.
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank the auditors. I think they have taken us through this very competently, and I want to thank the team from JOOTRH. Chair, JOOTRH is our main hospital, and I think it is by far within the Kisumu County and beyond, and all eyes are on it. And I think if there is prudent use of the resources, we can do a lot. And I want to thank the management. There is a big improvement in terms of things happening in JOOTRH, and I'm very happy. Recently, I had an accident in Nyakach, and I went there to see the patients who are there in ICU, and I was very much happy that things are working in that facility. Chair, we need to really also help them and make sure that they do the right things. We have given them a leeway, I think 7 days to do what they can do in terms of those books, so that everything could be in order. Because were it that they had done this before, they would have gotten a better opinion from the auditors. But I think the loopholes which are there, they are going to make use of good time and do the right thing. And I want to thank the CEO. You are new, but you seem to be very much aware of everything happening. Or you were there before, I don't know. But seemingly, your timing for being there for a period don't match what you know about Jaramogi. So seemingly, you are at par, and you should really urge your team to do the best. And I know, Chair, our next report for the next financial year will be better than this by far. And even the opinion from the auditors will be great. And that's all we want, because we are here for the purpose of representing our people, checking if things are going well, and that is our happiness to be here. So I think in our discharge of our duty, we are doing the right thing, and I urge you just to collaborate. On the issue of waiver, I want to thank JOOTRH. It's really nice. Some families really, Chair, are struggling, and you find that the patient is now well, he or she needs to go home, there is nothing, they try to fundraise, and the program is running well. And if I see the list, I was really appreciative, because we have been provided for with a list of beneficiaries for our whole fiscal year. And that shows the concern that they are doing the right thing in terms of giving those who are not able to get the waivers. Thank you, Chair. I have all in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Molo. Vice Chair, Honorable Warindu.
Thank you so much, Chair. Let me also take the opportunity to thank the Office of the Auditor General, the members, the Secretariat, and the management team from JOOTRH. Mine is just to, I was looking at the responses and the opinion that is given. I was tempted to believe that it does not match the qualified opinion that is given. And I want to implore upon you, since you are the bigger brother, kindly give a good example to other facilities. Most of them, we were at least giving an excuse that they don't have a certified accountant. And I believe, Ben, you'll stand tall and give the direction, depending on the report that will be having come next year. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing, and I wish you the best.
Thank you so much, members. I actually appreciate everybody, Office of the Auditor General, Office of the Account, the management team, members of the County Assembly, the Secretariat, and everybody. Actually, the Jaramogi is a pillar, especially in Kisumu County and within this region. And you know the kind of expectations we are expecting from you people. You know the responsibility we expect from you. You know what the pressure from the public that you are expected to deliver. It is true on our part, it is a collective responsibility. It is not for you people, it is not for only the MCS, it is not even for the governor alone, but we must work together for the betterment of the health system within Kisumu County. And we appreciate you a lot for coming. We know you have struggled a lot to meet the threshold required so that you get the qualified opinion. We appreciate you for that. But we expect you to be the best, so that when we will be dealing with Kombewa, or we will be dealing with Apunditi or Moroni, we have something to say. More so for the members, our work is actually the oversight. We have to put our officers to task, and that is provided in law. So whatever we are doing our part, you also have to do your part, and eventually we meet somewhere. The delivery. We must deliver to the people of Kisumu. And to the new CEO, we appreciate you a lot. Your name speaks, but we also expect action. You have to turn around, because there was a time we were almost giving up on Jaramogi, the national government. But if you can work together with a new finance director and our accountants, we still believe we can hold Jaramogi. You know, Jaramogi is actually taking a lot of money from the health department in terms of labor and in terms of money, which is actually injected in the hospital. So you have to, if you can stand on your own as an hospital, we will be having a chance of funding some of our sub-county hospitals and the health centers. So kindly, please, we expect a lot from you. We will support you wherever we can. We have also promised so that you come here and defend your budget. We can also appropriate something for you so that you can caution those who are from poor families. So it is very important. Thank you very much. Thank you, members. Thank you, everybody. We still expect the best. May I bring to your attention that we have lunch. Please don't leave. We have lunch within the assembly. You are our visitors. We have to treat you well. You also belong to the county. From here, we'll go for our lunch. Then afterwards, everybody, you are free to leave. The meeting is officially adjourned. We are not